And when you are from all the way, when you started growing to the point of the acquisition you mentioned just now, what in your memory is I guess the biggest struggle and hurdle that you actually overcome during that
Wow.
period?
Well, there's so many. That was my whole journey is literally filled with like struggles and obstacles and whatnot. Um, so I'll go back to the 5E skill engine again, right? So there are 5 different principles in the 5E skill engine, detailing what it takes for a business to scale. Why that's the case was because, I went through the same process also of looking at what's necessary for a business in order to systemize and scale up. I thought it was all about the business. It's not. At first, the 5E scale engine was just 3 pillars. Then I was like looking at it, it was like, okay, something's missing, right? So I added 1 pillar, so it's 4 pillars, and I thought it was complete already. It really described everything there is to a business. I realized something crucial was missing, and that was where the 5th pillar came about. The 5th pillar, the pillar that was missing, was the pillar about the entrepreneur. I realized that who I was when I was 20 starting my business, to who I was when I first hired someone, to the person that I was when I was managing a team size of 50, to the person I was when I was like looking at acquisition, they were all vastly different. And so us as business owners, business leaders, entrepreneurs need to evolve. In fact, everybody needs to evolve, I feel. So how do you evolve? What kind of mindsets do you have? What kind of thought processes? What kind of capabilities do you need to have? Because when I was a solopreneur, or rather a two-man show with my co-founder, you didn't really need a lot of leadership. But when you have a team size of 50, suddenly I didn't need to be a programmer. I needed to be a coach. I needed to be a personnel development expert. I needed to be somebody that was a great manager, because my skill sets were different already. And so there was this constant evolution and that was necessary. All these things I had to learn the hard way. I had to pick up the hard way. I had to figure out the hard way. And those are the things that are necessary for a business to really scale up. And there's so many things that failed and there were problems in that process. I remember one of the mindsets that I had, again when I was growing up, that whole mindset of working hard and all that. That was a great value, right, for people to have. But because there were nuances and details there that are not very well understood, right? When you as a individual contributor are working hard, that's perfectly great. But when you transit to a manager, when we first started hiring people and growing the team, suddenly working hard isn't such a smart idea anymore. Because in my mind, I was still thinking that I was an individual contributor. I had to work hard where I actually like do the work, right? But that's not the job scope of a manager at all. A manager needs to, number one, ensure that their team is performing well, right? He needs to track project deliverables. He needs to pull the team together, overcome any obstacles that they, as a team or themselves individually, are facing. So all these work, right? That needs a completely different skill set. And so for a very long period of time, I was the bottleneck in the business. Because I was like always constantly handling the work myself. I was telling people, my team members, you know what, let me do it, let me handle it. You don't need to worry about it. And because of that, I thought I was helping my team, but what I was doing was actually robbing them of empowerment, of the ability to learn, of the ability to progress. And when we do that together as a team and a company, we started to suffer because there were so many roadblocks that was caused by me, the manager that was not doing the role of a manager well. Right? That's just one example of evolution and how that notion of an entrepreneur needs to change and evolve over time.